Okay, it's the 12th of February, it's starting to rain. We'll get a quick backyard tour before it sets in too badly. So I thought that this pig was dead, apparently not. So it's decided to come back to life with a bit of cooler temperatures and a bit of rain, and also once I put the beans down in the bottom. I don't know if the nitrogen boost from the beans had anything to do with it, but it didn't hurt it. Boysenberries have come back to life, so I'm very happy about that. I will be putting them there, and hopefully they can grow up, and I'll put a wire along here and they can grow along there. So just putting the most berries I can and the most fruit I can in our backyard of our rental. That's the name of the game at the moment. Also, I pulled these suckers out of the lawn. Some are doing well, some are not so much, and that's okay, you get that. They're either blackberry or raspberry, but I have a feeling they're all raspberries, 2-year canes, and that's also fine. This is a bit of a surprise. I think this is a peach. It's actually doing okay. Never gotten peaches from it before, but there's 4 on it. So there you go. Down there, we have some limes. Locusts never fruited, but that's probably because it's not in the ground. Our cucumbers are dying off. They do not love the heat. So we've put some snow peas and some zucchini in the base of a few of the pots. Some still have some fruit on it, but it's a bit wonky. And then you can tell which ones are the Armenian cucumber. Well, it's really a melon, but when picked young, it's used for cucumber. So, see if I can show you. That's what it looks like. It's actually doing well because it does well in heat and hot areas. Alright, this has changed a little bit. So there's the snake bean fence, and as you can see, it's decided to come out since last time we looked with a lot of flowers. These only last a couple of hours and then they close up like that, they die off, and then they give off the tiny little beans. And the funny thing is, here's another really young one on the side. They always, well, 99.9% of the time, always come in pairs. So that's great. These ones are almost ready. They're probably about 30, 40, I'd say about 40 centimeters long, these ones. So the snake bean has a lot of names. Can be the cowpea, the foot-long, yard-long bean, asparagus bean, but we just know them as snake beans. So we've got a few more there. A couple up here. They're actually starting to take off. We've had 6, so 3 pairs so far that we've harvested, and now it's taking off. But I've been doing my research on these, and apparently they're only cropped for about 4 weeks, so this had me worried after all this time and effort to get them going. So I've planted another 20 plants in seed pots yesterday, so hopefully by the time these are done in another 2 weeks, we'll have more coming up that I can plant somewhere else, because my husband wants to plant something else in this spot. This pumpkin, I have no idea what it is. We were having a walk this morning, having a look at it, and we have no idea. There is a female on the tip, so it's little and round. Not quite sure what that is, but lovely surprise. There's another. So hopefully it's small and the light meshy stuff can take the weight of that. just got some dwarf beans in here. I can't remember what variety, just green I think they were. The Thai basil keeps flowering. It's kind of at that point where the flowers just keep coming. You need to take the flowers off. Really shouldn't get to the point where it's actually flowering like that, because it changes the flavor and it stops the growth of the bush. So just pick them off. As pretty as they are, sometimes I'm tempted to keep the beautiful purple on there, but it's not overall healthy for the plant, because it gives it the signal that its job is done, it's time to go to seed, and that's it. I'm gonna have another go at taking cuttings from this and propagating some of these and overwintering these plants, because, sorry for the noise, there's a lot of trucks going by at the moment, because they're really slow to start here in Canberra, and that's unfortunate. Oh, I've got a snake bean flower behind there. Bring that out so that I can get pollinated. Got some baby corn down there. This, again, full brunt of the sun and nothing's living except for the succulents. I don't know. Autumn and winter this is good, but even with the little shade cloth, it hasn't done too much to protect this. So what can you do? I started thinning out the blackberries, so they're done fruiting. Started pulling them out. So as you can see, this was last year's first year cane, which I can show you. This is next year's fruiter, so this is this year's first year cane. It's big, it's healthy, it's got the tiny side shoots on it. So each of these was once the tiny side shoot. So when you pinch the growing tip off that one, it sends off more growth on these laterals, and you want that, because if you don't, they'll be small and they'll only have 1 or 2 buds, and that's as much fruit as you're going to get off those laterals, because the laterals shoot off laterals, and that's what fruits. If you have longer laterals, then you're going to have more buds. Each bud is another lateral for next year, and that will shoot off extra small laterals that give you fruit. So basically, the more growth on the laterals you have, the more fruit you're going to have, which is always a good thing. So it looks like a right mess at the moment. You can tell the difference between last year's and this year's, because these leaves, they're old. They've got the remnants of where the fruit was. They're lime green, whereas New Year growth is healthy, dark green. It looks young. Last year's growth is really old and woody and unhealthy, which is fine. Got more raspberries. Now these two tomato plants were a bit of a surprise. They were hiding down there when I was pulling out all the dwarf beans that popped up. I picked a couple off it, but they're taking a long time to ripen. They've actually got some good sized fruit. The raspberries are giving their autumn crop, which is on the tip. When they're done, you pinch that off, leave it, and next year the rest of it will be covered in fruit. We planted these in between areas with more dwarf beans and vines and things like that, just to try and give more fruit in the space. This we cut all the way back. I'm gonna have to do it again with all the rain, all the pruned extra bits coming back to life. It just shows it's healthy, but it's kind of taking over, so I've got to prune it back. The corn here is glass gem corn. I'd like to see if I can grow some of that, because the glass gem that I've got going here got really stunted really early on. It wasn't healthy. Between the cold and the heat, it just didn't know what to do, so it's only sort of waist high when it should be a lot higher than that. The native raspberry with smaller leaves is coming back, and the silverberry. Is coming back. Got a zucchini under there and a pumpkin down there. Some sunflowers cheeky under there. And pears. Now, I don't know what's happened, but obviously the weather has tricked the pear into flowering again. Go figure. Alright, so gotta be quick at the moment. I think I need to go back inside to look after my little people. So, very quickly around the back of the garden. If I had more time, I'd explain a lot more. This garden is going crazy. Scarlet runner beans are finally starting to set beans. Apparently they need temperatures of less than 30 degrees, otherwise they drop their flowers, which I didn't know. There you go. Alright, just a quick one this week. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next tour. Bye!